Today, two prime contenders for Final Four weekend in Philadelphia on Memorial Day weekend. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Johns Hopkins University. It is the Blue Jays from Hopkins, undefeated, ranked #1 against the 5th-ranked Navy midshipmen, Scott Garceau and Keith Mills with you. Keith, when we look at our Jiffy Lube players to watch today, we don't have to go far from the crease, starting with Navy's Matt Russell.
Yeah, both goaltenders, Scott, playing very well. Matt Russell will wear number 16 for Navy. He is statistically the 2nd-ranked goaltender in the country. Big save here last week in Navy's win against Army. He's allowed just 6 goals a game, stopped 56% of his shots, had 10 saves a couple of weeks ago against Maryland. When he stops 50% of his shots, he is 24-2, but one of those losses last year in overtime at Johns Hopkins.
And over on the other side, a super sophomore for the Blue Jays, seems to be getting better with each game, Keith, Jesse Schwartzman.
Yeah, solid defense in front of him, but Jesse Schwartzman has played very well this year. Big save last week against Maryland. He wears number 2. He's a sophomore from Pikesville High School in the Baltimore County section of Maryland, and he's having an outstanding season. 62% of the shots on goal he stops, and he's given up just 6 goals a game.
All right, a couple guys to watch in this one. We'll be back with the Ferris Baker Watts starting lineups right after this.
Toyota presents the ESPNU ABC2 College Lacrosse Game of the Week. Brought to you by Toyota and your Toyota dealer. Toyota value that's moving you forward. And Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
Scott Garceau and Keith Mills from Homewood Field. Hopkins 9-0, they're ranked #1. Navy 9-2, they are ranked #5. Richie Meade was last year's National Coach of the Year. Let's take a look at his starting lineup, Keith.
Yeah, his team made the national finals last year. Many of those players are back. On attack, very talented and very good. Ben Horn, senior from Mill Valley, California. John Bersner and Nick Barabido have combined for 45 goals. The first midfield just as productive. The Looney brothers from DeMatha, Stephen Billy and Graham Gill, 31 goals and 20 assists. On defense, Mitch Hendler, number 34, the senior from Boys Latin High School in Baltimore, one of the best close defenders in the country. Andrew Dow and Mike Felber also play next to him, and they'll play in front of Matt Russell, who is the returning goaltender of the year.
Dave Petramala's Blue Jays have protected the house. They've won a school record 32 straight at home. Let's take a look at the Ferris Baker Watts Johns Hopkins lineup, Keith.
Yeah, #1 ranked and undefeated. And how about number 24, Kevin Huntley, the freshman from Calvert Hall in Baltimore, has exploded the last month. Jake Byrne, Pete Lesueur round out the starting attack, 35 goals and 16 assists. But their strength is right at the midfield. Kyle Harrison, candidate for All-America, Player of the Year. Paul Rabel and Greg Pizer, 42 goals and 20 assists. Tom Garvey, Matt Pinto, and Chris Watson on defense have combined for over 100 starts, and they'll protect number 2, sophomore Jesse Schwartzman.
Hopkins won this game last year in double overtime. The Blue Jays have won 30 straight in the series. We're back to face it off right after this. Just about set to go. Hopkins and Navy. See, Hopkins has dominated this series. They've won the last 30. Last year, a double overtime battle in Annapolis. Pazanka and Kyle Harrison take the opening faceoff.
Interesting, Scott, that Kyle Harrison would take the opening faceoff. Greg Pizer and Lou Braun have been really carrying the brunt of that, but Pazanka for Navy, one of the best at the X in the country.
Hopkins 9-0. They've got 2 more regular season games. This is Navy's final regular season game. They move into the Patriot Tournament on Friday.
And right now, Scott, as we look at the matchups, number 34 for Navy, Mitch Hendler, one of the best defenders in the country, matching up on Kyle Harrison right at the point with the ball right now. That'll be a great matchup.
Harrison, Rabel, and Greg Pizer, the first team midfield for Hopkins. Lesueur, Jake Byrne, and Kevin Huntley on the attack, and there's Harrison. Shot and an early score. Hopkins leads 1-0 less than a minute into the game.
Scott, this is the 14th time in Kyle Harrison's career that he scored the first goal of the game for the Blue Jays. Talk about getting off to a good start. We talked about the matchup with Mitch Hendler. He runs right away from Mitch Hendler to his right, and we have seen many, many times in his All-America illustrious career, he is not going to miss that too many times. Early, 1-0 Hopkins lead.
49 seconds into the game, you see the 13th goal for Kyle Harrison to go with 16 assists, and the Blue Jays jump out front. Matt Russell only gives up about 6 goals a game, but Hopkins jumps on him for a quick one.
Lou Braun, number 27, with the faceoff, took that one for Hopkins. They'll throw 3 or 4 guys at you. Kaiser, Kyle Harrison. Hopkins will retain possession as Lou Braun goes face down on the turf.
Yeah, he's down. And we've got an injury timeout as the Hopkins trainers hustle across. Let's take another look at it, Keith, see what happened to Lou Braun.
Yeah, Lou Braun, one of these many players from Upper Arlington High School in Columbus, just takes a kind of shoulder and goes shoulder first into the turf. It's like he's holding that rib or something, Scott, or
right side, the
side
wrist
of his body.
Shoulder bothering him.
He is a tough player, all-state football player in Columbus, Ohio. And as you know, Scott, Big Ten country, that's saying a lot. Big game up at West Point. Duke leads Army 8-6 as those two teams jockey for seeding position in the NCAA tournament. Navy, of course, beat Army last week.
That's where our partner Quint Kesnick is today, taking in that as well as the Army spring game in football. 1-0 Hopkins just underway. Homewood Field, sun peeking out behind the overcast. They have rain overnight this morning.
Second team midfield in now for Hopkins. Matt Rakowski, Joe Malo, Steven Pizer. This is Malo, very, very smart with the ball, Scott, this crew.
Hopkins, some good passes here. Now they slow it down as Rakowski gets it back up on top to Joseph Malo.
Scott, we mentioned Kyle Harrison scoring all those first game goals. They're 13-0 when Kyle scores the first goal of the game.
Good stat.
Good stat
for Hopkins. Yeah.
Matt Rakowski, number 9. He is a transfer from Duke toward his ACL, Scott, way back in the fall, and came back a couple of weeks ago against Virginia, and it's given a huge emotional lift to the Blue Jays.
Well, he had that big game against Duke with those fourth quarter goals. Here's a good look, and that shot sails high, but Steven Pizer was all lined up, and he let it rip. Dave Petramala coaching over on the Hopkins bench. Navy, Keith, 2 losses, but we talked about it earlier. They have 3 top 10 wins. Started early with Carolina, of course, a big win over Maryland. So they've played well against top competition.
Yeah, back-to-back wins against Army and Maryland, and that kind of, that's a shot on goal there. Hard shot by Jake Byrne, but I think that kind of cements their NCAA tournament bid. They're 5-1 in the Patriot League, lead the Patriot League, will host the Patriot League tournament this weekend down in Annapolis, and or next weekend, I should say. And they are playing their best lacrosse of the year right now.
Navy will get the winner of the Lafayette-Lehigh game at 2 o'clock on Friday, and then it's Army against Bucknell in the second game Friday about 5 o'clock. Hopkins up 1-0 early first quarter. Malo draws the double, gives it back up. Rakowski with it.
A little chess match going on with the second midfield now for Hopkins. There's Huntley. We've been talking about him. He'll work that area over right off to the goalie's left, and as we've seen with his left-handed shot, he could be lethal.
Long possession for the Blue Jays here. Got a 1-0 lead, and Navy hasn't had the ball yet.
Oh boy.
He got a step around the corner, and Jake Byrne let it rip.
Yeah, again, that was number 34, Mitch Hendler, on defense as Dave Petramala stalks the sideline, but good look that time from Byrne.
And Rakowski down low, and it trickles in. It is a goal. Russell got a piece of it, but it just did trickle in. And Hopkins with a 2-0 lead at the 11-12 mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, Matt Russell, the All-America goalie, guessed right. Went down low. You see Rakowski drop his stick. That signals to Russell that it's going low. He was there. just couldn't come up with it, and it trickles right behind him. See him again, nice feed that time from number 29, Peter Lesor, right through the legs of Clipper Lennon, the defender, the short stick midfielder, and Hopkins out to an early 2-0 lead. And Richie Meade will tell you, Scott, that hey, you don't want to get this, you don't want to let Hopkins grab the early lead and get away from you, because they are almost impossible to come back.
Pretty good hit right there, but Hopkins again with possession. Hang on.
Wow, that's Benson
Irwin. Yeah, lost his footing, but maintained possession. And here's Hopkins looking for goal number 3.
And you'll see Kyle Harrison coming on with his arms up. Hey, give me the ball, let's regroup. But 3 possessions, Scott, in the first 5 minutes of this game. Navy yet to be on offense. Not a bad record. 46-1 in the month of April since 1997. Of course, the NCAA championship is played in May, and Hopkins hasn't won one since 1987. But tell you what, they've got a great chance to do it this year. No question about it.
Rabel with the shot. Russell covers up this time. And if Navy can clear here, they'll take it into the attack zone for the first time.
20 seconds to get the ball to the midfield line, Scott, as we've talked about all year, and then 10 more to get it in the box.
They're using up a lot of that 20 here. Matt Russell with a charge across midfield. And the mids do get the clear as Russell hustles back toward the other end.
Boy, the turf kind of slippery. This is number 8, Steve Looney, and we'll see his number and hear his name called a lot. Looney, All-American candidate from Navy.
Navy versus number 1, 1-21 since 73, and 0-11 against Hopkins. It's not easy playing number 1.
No, it's May 4th.
That's why they're number 1, right?
Exactly. May 4th, 1974, the last time Navy beat Hopkins, 13-12. It happened at Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis. There have been 8 1- or 2-goal games since, Scott, including last year's overtime.
Graham Gill with the right-hander on the run, and Navy's on the board. Gill has had so many big goals for Navy this year, and this one gives them a spark after Hopkins had taken a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Graham Gill's 11th goal of the year. We talked a lot about it, the explosiveness of Hopkins' first midfield. Well, Navy can match it, and here's Graham Gill, the senior from Medford, New Jersey, and he cuts that lead in half with a rocket shot past Jesse Schwartzman.
Gill gets Navy on the board. Hopkins leads 2-1 with 9:21 to play in the first quarter. Hopkins here. Navy gets on the board with the Graham Gill goal. And it's Pizer and Pazanka facing off. Bodies down, and Hopkins controls.
And with numbers, this is Byrne.
Oh, Huntley couldn't handle the pass. And Navy will have possession. A little too much heat on that pass.
Yeah, it looked like Chris Pazanka won the face-off. You see Dave Petramalo. Richie Meade is screaming for a trip on the Navy sideline. Didn't get it, but it works out anyway for Navy well, because the errant pass went out of bounds, and the midshipman will try and clear now again. 20 seconds to get it to midfield.
LeBron was injured earlier. He left the field, didn't take that face-off. Said he got treatment. They expect him to come back. Navy clears. Here come the mids. Billy Looney back up top. That's Gill with it. Bursner really the quarterback of this offense, Keith. He's the guy that sets things up.
Absolutely. 23 assists on the year. A just solid player. Had a huge NCAA Final Four last year. Had the game-winning goal against Princeton, and we'll see him handle a lot.
He's behind the cage. Wears number 7 all the way to the right of your screen.
I'm sure now Navy wants to milk some of the clock and make Hopkins' defense do some work.
Graham Gill finds a little space back behind to Bursner. And this is Billy Looney, the sophomore from DeMatha. Looney 13 goals on the season. Navy can spread it around, Keith.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody really with staggering numbers, but a lot of guys with good numbers. Oh, not a good pass there.
Actually, it's got both Hopkins and Navy with 5 players with 10 goals or more, which is a credit to their unselfishness, both teams.
Bursner directing the midshipman.
And interesting to see number 37, Benson Irwin, one of the best short stick middies in the country, playing him.
Steve Looney was parked on the doorstep, but middies couldn't finish it.
Navy, one of the few teams, Scott, I think nationally that can really play with Hopkins athletically at the midfield line. They are just tough midfielders.
That pass went into some heavy Hopkins traffic.
Oh, great play by Bursner.
And a penalty marker down. Call against Hopkins. Maybe he'll play on. And a shot, and now we'll have the whistle. A little ice cream sandwich there for Steve Looney, right?
Yeah, Benson Irwin hitting from the front. Brendan Candy from the side. This is Bursner getting roughed up by Irwin there.
You saw the push.
Actually, that's Matt Pinto, number 31, the long stick defender. And the officials penalize Hopkins, so Navy will be on the extra man.
6-on-5 for the middies, and their extra man has been very good recently. 17 of their last 37 over the last 8 games. They're about 38% on their year, but they started slow. They've come on in their extra man offense, but Hopkins has only given up 7 goals in 27 extra man opportunities.
Ooh, credit certainly to the experience of Hopkins. Dave Petramala, Billy Dwan, the defensive coordinator, work long and hard at their extra man defense.
Navy not pushing it right now. Now Bursner. Stick on that one and a loose ball. Good defensive play by Hopkins. Unsettled situation. Here come the Blue Jays.
Billy Looney in the middle of that, but the long poles for Hopkins come up with the loose ball.
How many times you see Benson Irwin come up when the ball's on the carpet, Keith?
Absolutely. He's been very active already today. Interesting scenario there, Scott. Little unsettled situation. Hopkins opts to pull it out, get their offensive team in, which means Kevin Huntley coming on and Kyle Harrison coming on. Greg Pizer on that first midfield.
Just under 6 minutes to play. First quarter. Scott Garceau, Keith Mills with you from Homewood Field. Hopkins with a 2-1 lead over Navy. Hopkins got goals from Harrison and Rakowski. Gill with the Navy goal. A good look there and a pipe shot.
Hit the pipe.
Rabel pinged it. Well, Hopkins has had some good looks early, Keith.
Yeah, and they have switched up on Kyle Harrison. Seth Denola, number 4, with the long pole, is now playing Kyle.
Little jumper that hops over the cage.
Oh, good stick there.
Navy with a nice defensive play. That was Mike Felber.
Yeah, Scott Felber, one of those tough, close defensemen that gets a lot of attention from opponents. He and Mitch Hendler, 2 of the best in the business.
Navy with a good clear.
Yeah, the mid's 3 for 3 now in clears, and we've seen many times, Scott, go back a couple of weeks ago, Duke did a great job clearing against Hopkins, and it paid off into some big goals.
Well, you get into a game that's decided by 1 or 2 goals, 3, 4 failed clears, that can be a ball game, Keith, with those possessions.
Turnovers becoming a huge statistic, I think, in big-time college lacrosse because the possessions are so long now. Coaches opting to really milk each possession, make the defense work. Now seeing Navy's second midfield, Scott. William Wallace with the ball, Tommy Wallen and Dwayne Osgood.
Up top, some room there. One hopper, no problem for Schwartzman. Battle as the rebound is out of play, and it'll go to Navy.
Almost looked like, Scott, Dwayne Osgood, number 11, took that shot. You see Dave Petramala pleading his case.
Timeout. PB timeout.
You hear Hans Wittelsberger say, we are going to take timeout. We'll talk about that when we come back.
This one's on us. 4:07 to play in the quarter. Hopkins leads Navy 2-1.
My friends and I joined in so we could talk a lot.
2 of the best teams in the country, and defense is one of the reasons, Keith.
Yeah, Peter Lesueur looking to make a feed. Mike Felber sticks the big pole up in the air and snags it right out of the air. He's from Rochester, New York, and that's a big play for the senior defender, who was already learned, Scott, he's going to be a Navy pilot when he graduates from the academy in June, and President George Bush will deliver the commencement.
Yeah, they get pretty good speakers down there.
Yeah. You ever done that one? You've done a lot. I wonder if you ever done that one.
I've been asked. There's some first quarter numbers over the season. Hopkins outscored their opponents 29-10, and we are tied. So the Middies tied at 2 after Hopkins got the first 2.
Yeah, Billy Looney and Bersner combined for a goal. Again, we talked about Bersner being the feeder. This time Looney just cuts off and rockets one past Jesse Schwartzman. Both goals coming from the right side. You see Looney working on Benson Irwin. Man, and not much room in the upper right-hand corner. But Billy Looney, the sophomore from DeMatha, with a shot and a goal. Teammates with Paul Rabel, who is a freshman sensation from Johns Hopkins. He and his brother Steve and Rabel. That's not a bad trio for you, huh?
So Navy grabs some momentum. Hopkins gets the first 2, Navy with 2, and now they control, have possession here, and a chance to take the lead. Navy grabbing some loose balls now, getting those ground balls.
Tommy Wallen wins that face-off. He'll spell Pazanka throughout the day.
And Pazanka, Navy's all-time leader in face-off wins. He's been doing it for a long time. The senior from Hamburg gets a little breather there.
Yeah. Richie Meade, Scotty, has got to be happy with the way his team responded from down 2. We talked before the game about the emotional letdown coming off the Army win last week. Even though you're playing number 1, Army's Army down at the academy, and nothing compares to that. This is close, but the Mids have survived that little Hopkins onslaught.
And even though there's Wallace, a shot and a score, put it on the top shelf. William Wallace, the sophomore from Bloomfield Village in Michigan, gives Navy a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, from basically the same spot on the field that Billy Looney just scored, and Wallace just goes right by Kyle Harrison, who gives him the room, thinking, hey, Jesse Schwartzman's got a pretty good angle, but it finds the upper left. Again, not much room, tough angle. Third goal for Navy and a 3-2 lead for the midshipmen.
So those last 2 goals just 50 seconds apart, and Navy grabs a lead. Boy, right up in the top upper corner, and you saw the reaction from Jesse Schwartzman.
And Scott, anytime Richie Meade gets a goal from his second midfield, which he just did, is a bonus. A predominantly attack first midfield scoring team. Boy, Wallace with a big one right there.
You think, Keith, you look at this series, 30 in a row. Hopkins has defeated Navy. They're number 1 in the country, undefeated. You go, that's a tough game for Navy, but these kids lost in double overtime to Hopkins last year. They know they can play with them.
Without question. Connor Ford for Hopkins scored the game winner with 3 seconds left in overtime, but that was a great game. 18,000 fans down at Marine Corps Stadium, and I think, Scott, even though Hopkins won that day, I think Navy really propelled themselves from that day as we see Wallace again. Look at Kyle Harrison, kind of giving him some room, thinking that Schwartzman's got the angle. But Wallace just put a great shot on goal. But I think Navy really used that Hopkins game last year to really make their Final Four run, prove that they could play with anybody, beat Princeton in the semis, nearly beat Syracuse in the finals.
Navy, by the way, Keith was talking about the big crowds. They lead the nation in attendance this year, averaging over 6,200 a game. They had over 14,000 for the Maryland game, over 12,000 for Army last week. And boy, they're excited about lacrosse in this Navy team.
As we've seen here at Hopkins, crowds have been huge. 10,000 for Duke, 10,000 for 9,000 for Virginia. So all over the country, and particularly in this region, fans pouring out to watch the college game.
2.5 minutes left first quarter. Navy leads the Blue Jays 3-2. Hopkins, they're not going to panic. Remember, they were down 7-1 to Syracuse at Syracuse.
Right.
Came back to win that game.
We're down to Duke, game we did a couple of weeks ago. Classic finish. Wonderful fourth quarter. Kyle Harrison scored the tying goal, and then freshman Kevin Huntley the game winner.
And most people think that if Hopkins can win today, they'll go into the postseason undefeated. They'll be heavy favorites against Towson and Loyola, their final 2 games. Greg Pizer took a look, thought better of it, and they'll regroup. Oh, pretty good catch there.
Nice catch.
Rabel.
Towson plays Hofstra tonight at Towson University, Johnny U Stadium, and that's a big game in the Colonial Athletic League. Seth Denola, number 4, hounding Paul Rabel, the freshman.
Denola, the former goalie at Navy, right, Keith?
Yeah, he started the season last year at goal, and then Matt Russell replaced him and led the Mids to the Final Four.
Again, good defense. Matt Guido knocked that shot down, and the Middies running.
Yeah, Mids love to run. They'll push it up and down the field. Steve Looney, number 8, pushing the pace, and he gets it back to the quarterback, John Bersner.
Let's see what Navy does with just a little over a minute left. Try to milk the possession for one shot. They're up 3-2. 3 straight Navy goals after Hopkins scored the first 2. Navy's last 2 goals came 50 seconds apart. Looney and then Wallace.
You may have just seen Seth Denola storming off the field, replaced by Steve Looney, the offensive midfielder.
Down to 35 seconds left. Richie Meade electing to hold for the final shot in the quarter here. I would think at about 15 seconds or so, Keith, they'll go to work.
I would think so. Try to isolate, maybe a little screen and roll. Look for a cutter off the screen. This is Gill.
At 15 seconds. Goes left to right, bounces one off the mark. Navy still with possession in 10 seconds. There's Richie Meade.
And grew up on Long Island, went to Nassau Community College and then North Carolina.
Bersner, tough angle. Final seconds. Navy throws one up at the horn. And a good first quarter for the midshipmen. Hopkins jumped them 2-0, but Navy scores 3 unanswered, and they've got a 3-2 lead after 1. Back with the second quarter in a minute. Tommy Wallen and Greg Pizer take the face-off. Benson Irwin trying to get a handle on it, and he controls.
6th face-off win for Hopkins, as Benson Irwin continues to just play real strong across today, up and down the field. And here comes Kyle Harrison, and when you see him around the midfield stripe, Scott, turning on the Jets, you say, oh man, look out.
Scott Garceau and Keith Mills with you from Homewood Field. Top-ranked Hopkins undefeated 9-0 against 5th-ranked Navy. The midshipmen 9-2. Navy scored 3 unanswered goals after Hopkins jumped out to a 2-0 lead. As we start the second quarter, great defensive play. Bersner. Check it, that wasn't Bersner, that was number 8 for the Mids. Jumped in front of that shot, Steve Looney.
Yeah, then Looney then threw it away to Bersner, but again, Bersner, the guy they want to get the ball to, but Looney playing both ends of the field. We've talked about his offense. They're just great anticipation from the junior from Silver Spring, and then what we don't see is the turnover, but another, Scott, I think that's the 3rd interception that a Navy defender has made in the Hopkins end.
This is the freshman, Paul Rabel. Duke taking it to Army now. 2nd-ranked Blue Devils lead at 13-7 in the 3rd quarter.
Tell you what, Scott, Duke hammered Virginia last week. 18-2. And, you know, the way they played here against Hopkins, you know, you've got to look at them as legitimate contenders right now to be in Philly Memorial Day, because they are playing great. They've got great athletes, solid goaltending, good defense.
He'll be in Baltimore this week for the ACC tournament at M&T Bank Stadium Friday and Sunday. Championship game on Sunday. Hopkins trying to tie this thing up. They trail 3-2. Kevin Huntley, the freshman from Calvert Hall, who's had a spectacular first year at Hopkins. 14 goals, and so many of those big goals. Throws that one away. Good job by Navy to keep Hopkins off the ball there, Keith.
Yeah, tremendous job. Marabito, number 40, the freshman, Nick Marabito, just sealed off Chris Watson and kind of like boxed him out like you would in basketball.
Yeah, like block it out for a rebound, right?
And that's another turnover, this one from the freshman. But amazingly about Huntley, rarely played the first 4 or 5 games. 2nd on the team in goals scored.
He had the overtime winner that beat Duke. 3 fourth-quarter goals in the 9-7 win against Virginia, and he has grown up in a hurry.
Yes, he has. Again, Navy 2nd midfield on. Osgood, Wallen, and Wallace. They've accounted for a goal already.
Look out, Wallen has trouble with the handle.
Boy.
Getting worked over. And Tom Garvey just giving him the business.
Garvey, like Hendler, great close defender, but again, the Blue Jays turn it over. But you got to credit the Hopkins defense. Dave Petramala barking out some instructions, but watch Garvey. Count the hacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets some help. 6. And finally, as you see Greg Raymond right here, number 33, the Blue Jays got the ball but turned it back over.
We talk so much about the goal scorers, Keith, because that's the name of the game. It's exciting, but a guy like Garvey means so much to Hopkins. He held John Christmas scoreless. He held Jed Prosner, who had that great game last week, to 1 assist. He's as important as anybody.
Yeah, you rarely
goals.
talk about him because he does his job quietly and effectively, but he is a monster on defense. As we see again right there, that's Matt Pinto with the steal. Navy trying to go inside. You can't blame him. Yeah, let's try to create something inside. Took a shot, but that's a tough place to be.
When they get in the center of that Hopkins defense, there's a lot of sticks coming at you from a lot of different angles.
Big Chris Watson, number 43, involved in that play. Garvey and Raymond, the long pole.
Hopkins has gone over a quarter now without scoring. Just about a quarter. It was 11-12 of the first quarter when Rakowski made it 2-0. So the Navy defense has dug in. They've created some turnovers. Matt Russell hasn't had to look at a lot of rubber.
Yeah, exactly. Jesse Schwartzman tested more early, and now Matt Rakowski in the second Hopkins midfield back on the field. Seth Tierney, the offensive coordinator, showing a lot of faith in his second middies so far today. Rakowski with an early goal.
This is Mallow. And another errant pass.
There's that same matchup. This time Watson uses his feet. Oh!
Kick save and a big hit. Hopkins laying some lumber out there. That was Stephen Pizer. That's a little Under Armour big hit candidate.
No
protecting
question.
the house.
Protecting it like Ray Lewis would protect the Ravens' house as Kevin Huntley clears it. But boy, end-to-end action caused again, Scott, by some errant passing. Both teams. It's either great defense or it's real casual with the ball. Depending on what team you root for, I guess.
Mallow taking a stroll with it.
Joe Mallow, one of those many players coming now from the Midwest part of the country, from Denver, Colorado. A little bit later, Scott will talk about a great Sports Illustrated article in this week's SI from Alexander Wolf on the explosion of lacrosse nationally.
And again, Navy forces the turnover, and here come the mids looking to push it.
And that's number 26, Tommy Wallen, back to the quarterback.
Kirshner looking for the secondary break. Nothing there, really, and he'll back it off.
And young players, if you're watching, boy, great lesson there. Kirshner, head on a swivel, Scott. We talk about that a lot. Looking around, seeing the cutters, watching the defense.
Kirshner averaging 2.5 assists per game. That's third in the nation. 21 points in the last 5 games for him. 5 goals, 16 assists.
From Levittown, New York, MacArthur High School. And this is Ben Horn now, who will work behind the cage. He's from Mill Valley, California.
He's another Navy pilot coming up, Keith.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good look here. And a nice save. Schwartzman took it right on the number.
Yeah, Steve Looney had a pretty decent look, but that time he kind of threw it right at him.
Not a good location, yeah.
And Schwartzman ready. Nice. Ooh, boy, big hit on Rakowski, but he gets it to Mallow.
Navy protecting the house.
Man.
Little Under Armour action.
Dave Petramala wants timeout, I believe.
Looks like there's a flag. Looks like there's a flag, Keith. Far side of the field.
Far side.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. That is the earlier hit from Stephen Pizer protecting that house. Down goes Jake Byrne. That was on Clipper Lennon. And this is the save by Schwartzman.
Stick
nice
side,
shot,
yeah.
Nice shot by Steve Looney, but Schwartzman up to the challenge.
8:58 to play, first half. Navy still leads Hopkins 3-2. That part of the crowd here at Homewood Field Navy leading Hopkins 3-2. Hopkins in possession here. First half, about 8:50 to play.
A good contingent, Scott, of Navy fans up from Annapolis. I'm sure plenty of midshipmen made the trip up I-97.
Kyle Berry in. He's been bothered with an ankle injury.
That time they threw Rakowski, Scott, in the middle. Berry working out top, looking for Rakowski as a cutter, and a little change of offensive philosophy here as Huntley goes low.
And so did Russell. Dropped right down with him and made the save. Matt Russell, cat quick, not very big, 5'7", 154 pounds. Goalie of the year, and there's Rakowski. A one-toucher with the left hand, and Matt Rakowski ties it at 3. His second goal of the game.
Yeah, obviously the coaches saw something in the Navy defense where they wanted to insert number 9 Matt Rakowski in the middle of that defense. Hopkins works the ball behind the goal. Paul Rabel with a sweet feed right in front to number 9, and no chance for Matt Russell. Well executed. Hopkins play. Rabel with the assist. Well, I mentioned, Scott, great emotional lift from Rakowski, who grew up on Long Island, went to Bethpage High School, same high school as A.J. Hogan, the All-American from Hopkins a few years ago. And when he came back to the Virginia game that we did, you could almost feel that the Hopkins players just kind of uplifted from his presence. And another face-off win for the Blue Jays, and now
they're controlling the face-off circle.
Interesting move there too, Scott. That last goal, Paul Rabel inverted. Usually the midfielders play out in front of the goal. Rabel went behind, and again, well executed play. Obviously Seth Tierney and Dave Petromalen, the coaches, Dave Allen, saw something in that Navy defense that they figured they could exploit.
Seth Nola nearly had another interception, jumped out into the passing lane for Navy, number 4. He's hustling all over the field. Here comes Kyle Harrison. Look at how quick the feet are.
Oh, boy.
On the run and a shot and a score. He stuck it up on the top shelf, far side, and that time Matt Russell was just overmatched.
Yeah, it looked like Kyle wanted to originally use the screen to his left from Greg Pizer. Navy did a good job of adjusting, and then Jake Burns sets the screen. Navy slides off of that, but Kyle Harrison's just too good. Again, not much of an angle, not much room to Matt Russell's right, but bingo, just finds it. And that is a tremendous, tremendous shot from Kyle Harrison. Man.
So Rakowski with 2, now Harrison with 2, Hopkins with a 4-3 lead halfway through the second quarter. Well, we were talking during the timeout, Keith. I said, hey, you want to spark that Hopkins offense? They've been dormant for a while. Get it in Kyle Harrison's stick. He'll make something happen.
Navy finally wins a face-off as we see number 42, William Wallace, come up with it. But, well, that's a big-time play from Harrison. Certainly one of the 2 or 3 best players in the country.
Wallace getting in a good day's work, Keith. He had that goal earlier, taking face-offs for Navy.
As you
second midfield.
As you mentioned, Scott, from Bloomfield, Michigan, another one of the many Michigan players. Seen a couple from Novi. Country Day School, well represented. Mentioned Kyle Harrison. He's got a good long talk with his dad this morning, and grew up playing in the Lutherville Rec Council area in northern Baltimore County, and came up through the ranks like so many other players. But it wasn't long before he got a chance to play, and his dad was saying he won 9 straight face-offs, scored 7 goals in his first game.
They said this kid might be able to play, right?
That's not bad.
Maybe some nice crisp passing here. Hopkins holds the defense. Billy Looney thought about the shot, gives it up, and now Bershner. Those moves.
But hounded by Pinto. Matt Pinto, the junior from Loyola, one of the more unheralded.
Yeah,
Hopkins
you got Watson
defenders.
and Garvey on the defense. They're not going to talk a lot about you, but boy, he's a good one.
Oh, cool.
Navy with an excellent opportunity there. Ben Horn couldn't handle the pass on the crease.
And again, they go right back to Bershner. Oh, there's a
Couldn't find it. Made a pretty good play to keep it from getting away, and here comes Hopkins with numbers. Shot and a score. Jake Byrne turns the turnover into a Hopkins goal, and the Blue Jays stretch the lead to 2.
Yeah, credit a bad pass by the Navy offense on that play. Greg Pizer alertly picks it up and just takes off. Let's take another look at it. Greg Pizer, number 20, unguarded. You see him just sprinting down the field. Knew Jake Byrne was over to his left. Byrne drops down. Matt Russell drops down, but it's just too much on it, too much pace. As you see Pizer under control, and good vision leads to that goal by Hopkins.
Yeah, that goal was scored on the other end when they turned it over, and Hopkins handled the transition. Byrne finishes his first goal of this game on the season, his 14th, and here they come right back at you.
Well, how's that? You score 3 in a row, you throw Kyle Harrison out on the face-off X. Man, do they have some depth.
5-3 Hopkins, about 5.5 minutes to play first half.
It's been a midfield-dominated game, Scott. Pretty much every goal coming from the midfield. Jake Byrne, I believe, the first attackman to score a goal in this game.
And we just got word that Lou Braun is done for the day with a shoulder injury. He was hurt in the first quarter. Hopefully that's nothing serious. Braun, just a great face-off specialist for the Blue Jays, but the good news for Hopkins is they have such depth at that position with Pizer, Kyle Harrison, Jamison Kester.
We're seeing the versatility now of Rakowski working from behind the goal, inverting. He scored a goal earlier from in front of the goal. Actually scored 2.
Kyle Berry picks up the loose pass as it got knocked down out of Rakowski's stick. So 3 different swings in this game. Hopkins with an early strike. They went up 2-0. Navy scored 3 unanswered. They led 3-2 at the end of the first quarter. And now Hopkins with all 3 goals in the second quarter to lead at 5-3. Mallow.
Yeah, Huntley, Jake Byrne, and Kyle Berry now on the Hopkins attack. Peter Lesor currently out of the game.
Andrew Dow with a stick check there that drew a response from the Hopkins bench. Under 4 minutes left in the half. Hopkins up a pair. Kevin Huntley.
Tough matchup there, working on Steve Looney, but he quickly gets help from the long stick of Mitch Hendler.
Looney only 162 pounds. You can see Huntley drop the shoulder and try to use the muscle on him a little bit. Berry turns the corner, nothing there. Good pass. Try to get it to Rakowski, not a good pass, and Navy's up with it.
Andrew Dow made a nice play as the mids try to clear and do. Boy, well done by Mike Felber.
Now Navy trying to get something going on the offensive end. They haven't scored here in the second quarter.
We've seen many times, Scott, game of streaks, and Hopkins certainly as streaky as any team in the country with a great defense, and that usually adds up to some nice offensive runs, which we've seen today.
Both teams making substitutions.
And the mids counter with their second midfield. This is Dwayne Osgood, number 11, Tommy Wallen, William Wallace.
2.5 to play first half. Scott Garceau, Keith Mills from Homewood Field, where Hopkins is riding a 32-game win streak, 32 straight at home. That's a school record. These seniors have never lost a home game. They only have one more in the regular season this year. That'll be their final game against Loyola. 3 o'clock game 2 weeks from today. Bursner darting around like a water bug.
I know one set of eyes will be teary-eyed that day, and that's Miles Harrison, Kyle's dad.
He said he's going to adopt another son so he can still have somebody to cheer for over here. And Hopkins up with it. Blue Jays under 2 minutes now left in the half. It's been a good second quarter for Hopkins. It kept Navy off the board and scored 3 goals. And Dave Petramala calls a timeout with 1:39 left in the half. So we'll step out. Hopkins leads Navy 5-3. Kyle Harrison and Matt Rakowski with 2 goals each. Hopkins leads Navy 5-3. A little over a minute and a half to play in the first half. Hopkins in the white jerseys in possession.
Hey, you see the representatives a minute ago in the dress whites from Navy, and it's springtime, always a great time to be down in Annapolis.
Probably a good timeout for Dave Petramala, right? Let's not do anything stupid here. Up 2, late in the half.
Great point, and he has his first midfield back in. That's Kyle Harrison with the ball now. Mitch Hendler back on him.
Oop, trying to leave it for Pizer.
Pizer wasn't expecting it. Pizer wasn't buying.
Just left it there for everybody. Under a minute now. And Navy checks the ball free. Mid's trying to clear it.
Boy, look at Harrison just all over.
Clipper Lennon got dumped on the other end.
Dan Harris trying to clear, and Kyle Harrison just hawking him and forcing the turnover. Originally, it started out with Mike Felber making a great play, but it ends with Clipper Lennon getting dumped by Paul Rabel, and then Dan Harris getting abused by Kyle Harrison.
Rabel is a large freshman, 6'2", 200 pounds. You saw him get physical that time.
Clipper Lennon, local guy from Loyola High School, great short stick midfielder.
Huntley looking, trying to get it inside. Heavy traffic there.
Not a bad play though, Scott. 20 seconds, make something happen. He gets it back. Oh man, Mike Felber is playing a tremendous game. Actually, that was Andrew Dow.
He undressed him. Oh, and a bad pass. The pole for Navy hustling upfield, but Mitch Hendler.
Yeah, Mitch from Boys Latin. I guess Quinn Kesnick taught him how to throw that ball out of bounds like that. Quinn, of course, an assistant coach at PL. Let's go back and take a look at this strip by Andrew Dow, number 44 in goal. Just takes it right away, knocked the stick down to boot.
He had to get redressed after that one.
Ball eventually comes up to Mitch Hendler, number 34, coming right at you. And the long pole hasn't done that too often. Good for Marabido, and just throws it out of bounds. Here's Richie Meade in the Navy huddle.
Short stick near midline. The fourth defenseman will want back. Make sure we have more numbers at that end of the field than they do. Matt Russell, play the ball. Everybody else, play a man. You understand? Get to the ball and chop. Don't give it easy. Come on, let's go.
Go now. Hey, make sure they can't catch the ball, man. He's going to be out of the cage.
Navy on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So the Middies and Richie Meade playing what they want to do with the final 8 seconds. Man up, and Matt Russell, you play the ball, he said.
Yeah, great story. Richie Meade, in his 11th year in Navy, was an assistant coach at Navy back in the mid-'80s. And the guy you're looking at, Dave Petramala, was one of the guys he recruited out of Long Island from St. Mary's High School. Tried to get him to go to the academy, wouldn't bite. Mike Pressler, now the coach at Duke, an assistant at Army that time, invited Dave Petramala to West Point. Dave goes, comes to Hopkins instead. So it's all intertwined, this college lacrosse game.
Who wasn't trying to recruit Dave Petramala, right?
Without question. I still say one of the 2 or 3 best players ever to play lacrosse.
Length of the field heave, and it's going to trickle out as time runs out. So no harm, no foul there in the final 8 seconds. But Hopkins owned the second quarter, Keith. They scored 3 goals to take that 5-3 lead.
Yeah, you have to feel good if you're Dave Petramala, the way you answered the Navy challenge. Up 2-0, Navy scores 3. Hopkins answers with a big 3-goal second quarter.